What's up everyone, Takedown here, welcome back to the video. Today we're going to be talking about how to fix your PlayStation 3 if it is overheating. Let's get right into this. If your PlayStation 3 is overheating while you're gaming, there's a few things to check. Some of these are the basics, and then we're going to get into more of the technical stuff. So first, let's start off with the basics, which sometimes just can be overlooked. The first is to make sure that your PlayStation 3 is placed in a well-ventilated area and it gets a lot of airflow. If you see any dust visibly from the outside in any of the vents, you're going to go ahead and clean that with a brush or some compressed air. You're going to want to make sure you don't use too much compressed air, as that could damage the internals of your PS3, but you're simply going to want to remove any dust that you do see. And of course, you're going to want to make sure you do not have your PS3 placed in an enclosed cabinet. Another thing to keep in mind whenever it comes to the PlayStation 3 overheating is to take frequent breaks whenever you're gaming. If you're in long gaming sessions, especially with more graphical demanding games, that could be what's causing your PlayStation 3 to freeze. So it's recommended to take frequent breaks to help it cool down, thus preventing it from actually overheating from long gaming sessions. Now, if some of these basic fixes didn't work for you, we're going to now get into some of the technical stuff. The first is to open up your PlayStation 3 to get inside it. Now, if you've never opened up your PlayStation 3 before, it's not that difficult. You are going to want to take your time, especially if it's the first time that your PlayStation 3 is being opened, because those parts are going to be very stiff together, and you're going to want to make sure you don't use too much force whenever you're trying to pry the parts apart so they do not snap and break. So simply take your time and it will go pretty smoothly. Of course, to start, you're going to want to disconnect all of the cables on your PlayStation 3, and you're going to go ahead and turn it over. You're going to want to remove some of the feet because there are hidden screws underneath it. You're going to go ahead and remove all the screws, and you're going to open up your PlayStation 3. Now, with your PlayStation 3 open, the first thing you're going to want to check is to see if there's any dust accumulated around the fan or the exhaust. If there is, you're going to go ahead and clean all of that out, and if there's any around the heatsink, you're going to clean that out as well. Between the fan and the heatsink underneath, usually it can get clogged up. If that airflow gets clogged up, all of that air that the fan is circulating cannot escape out of the back of the PlayStation 3 because it's clogged up with dust. You're going to want to go and remove all of that dust, and then usually that does fix the issue for overheating right there. But most people, while they already have your PlayStation 3 open, they're going to go ahead and they're also going to replace the thermal paste on your PlayStation 3, so you might as well go and do this while you already have it already taken apart. Now, once the thermal paste is replaced and you have all of the cleaning done and you see no more dust, you can go and put everything back together, and it should work normally once again, and you shouldn't have any overheating issues with your PlayStation 3. Of course, you are going to want to make sure that it's in a well-ventilated area, and you're going to periodically clean it from the outside to remove any of that dust so you don't have a big clog up in the future. Now, if you don't feel comfortable opening up your PlayStation 3 and replacing the thermal paste or even just cleaning it out, then you can take it somewhere to have them do it. But remember, you're going to be paying for that service when it is quite easy to do. But I do understand opening up and doing more of the technical stuff isn't for everybody, especially if you've never done it before. Now, if you did all of these basic steps and these more technical steps and your PlayStation 3 a little while later seems to still be overheating, then you might have to invest in an external fan. This basically connects to the back of your PlayStation 3, and it will force cold air into your PlayStation 3 and take all of that hot air out. Now, before buying the external fan, make sure you do all of the previous steps first to help prevent it from overheating, and worst case scenario, you might need this fan. Hopefully this video has helped you guys and your PS3 is no longer overheating. I'll see you guys in the next video. Please take care. Peace.